Hi, and welcome to our Wednesday live stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. I can see you, Leslie Butler, over on the YouTubes. Let me do my usual little shuffle here and bring up the Getter live stream as well. Big thank you to all those watching over on Getter, as well, obviously, as Twitter, Rumble, all the rest of them. So let me just make sure I can see it so I can then see all your comments whilst muting myself, of course. I don't want to hear me twice. It's bad enough that I have to hear myself the first time. So, yeah, that's okay. That all seems to be functioning fine. So, yes. So, as I say, a warm welcome. Give it a minute or two for a few more people to come into the stream. It's been a high Republican rocker, my friend, across in the US of A, along with Andrew Allsworth. Hi, Andrew. Good to see you as well. Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff to chat about actually this evening, stroke this afternoon, stroke this morning, because it depends where you are in the world. One of the strange things about doing this live streaming is that, of course, that you always assume you're streaming into your own time zone, but you're not. You're absolutely not. And yeah, and as if to prove my point, Dawn appears, Donny girl appears. Aloha all the way. Rory in Cork, good to see you as well. And my friend Jason, thanks very much for coming into the room, friends. Yeah, so I've had a busy day. Later on, I'm gonna talk to a little adventure I had earlier today. And hello, Blitzer, good to see you as well. He says, hello, everyone, except Dave Angel and Ian Wiltshire. I had a little adventure earlier on involving the NHS, which I want to have a chat about. So we'll get to that. And of course, we want to talk about the potential World War III position that continues to develop over Ukraine / NATO / Russia. So we're going to have a chat about that as well, because I think we need to. These are monumental big things that are happening in the world. But I thought, the first topic we're going to get to this evening. Oh, hi, Adrian, by the way. Good to see you. I don't know where Adrian's come from, actually. That's interesting. Oh, I do see you, Adrian. I see you on the Getters. I guess the first thing I want to talk about is the ubiquitous. We got to talk about the vaccines. Now we're broadcasting this across all the platforms, the Facebooks, the YouTubes, so the anti-free speech platforms we're broadcasting onto, as well as the free speech platforms, which are obviously Getter and Rumble, and we have Twitter, which seems to be somewhere in between. So, yeah, Jason just says, we love the vaccine on the YouTubes. Of course we do. Otherwise, we get demonetized and banned. I've been demonetized, by the way, on YouTube, just FYI. So YouTube are determined that David Vance is not going to get a penny of help from anybody. Thank you so much, YouTube, you miserable bunch of globalist shills. Did I just say that? Yeah, I think I did. But don't forget, if you do want to support me and you enjoy the work that we do, just go to, where is it here? davidvance.net, he says, if we can get it up there. There we go. You can, if you want to, actually, we should do that to start with, actually. You can, of course, go to the davidvance.net site, and there you can find the shop we have. If you want to make some, let me see how I do this. I always get this wrong. There we go. Here we go. Look at all those. Jed plays a lot. He's going to join me in a second. Plays a lot of Bowie music. But I mean, one of Bowie's big hits was Fashion. If you want fashion, it doesn't get better. It just doesn't get better, folks, than the stuff we have here. Both clothes, apparel, mugs, everything imaginable. So go and have a look at it anyway. You might find something that you like. James Jameson, good to see you, my friend. Thanks for being here. So look, without further ado, let me bring on, it's a Wednesday night. This is not a solo operation from me on a Wednesday. I'm very pleased, of course, to always be joined on Wednesday by Jed. So Jed, come on to the stream.
Good evening, David. Good evening, everybody. And it's Wednesday again. And will Jed have a rant today? We'll see. Tick, tick,
Well,
tick,
I got to
boom.
say, you didn't have one last week, and a lot of people were very disappointed. A lot of
It
folks.
was. I know. I don't like disappointing my audience, and my fan base.
No, but you gotta keep the fans happy, Jed. You gotta keep the fans happy. So that means you gotta unleash, and hopefully we'll provide sufficient material for you to ungrade. Hi, Northern Monkey, by the way. Good to see you there. So Jed, the first topic that I wanted to chat about this evening is essentially the vaccines, or rather a change in government policy on British government policy in the vaccine, which I think will be replicated across in the States. So all American friends, just be aware of this. So if we can bring up, Jed, let's start at the top. Let's bring up, this was in the Daily Skeptic, which is where I read it. And you can see the headline in a second. The UK becomes the latest country to ban COVID booster. Get your booster. Dr. Fauci's boosters for under 50s. So the punchline here is, if I get it right, that I think from February the 12th, the government will no longer, yes, the boosters will no longer be available to healthy people under 50 from next month. The government has said, wow, well, that's interesting. Of course, it will be available for people over 50. In fact, I believe by the autumn, they'll be on their fifth, maybe sixth dose. Yeah. But a lot of other countries, I mean, as Jed's pointed out here, a number of countries have imposed similar bans on boosters for healthy under 50s, a trend that has been linked by observers to safety concerns, though public authorities have not confirmed this. And then this is a kicker, Jed. I'm bringing you in a sec, Jed. The UK will continue to offer the first two doses to over 16s. So let me see if I can get this right. So they're going to offer the first two doses to over 16 still who haven't taken any of the experimental gene therapy, but they're not offering boosters to people under 50. So have I got it right, Jed? I mean, how does this work? If you're over 16, you're going to be offered, you can still get your first and second if you haven't had them, which is to me insane. But if you're under 50, you won't get a booster. I think that's the gist of it. Is that right?
I can't work it out, David. It's either good for you or it isn't good for you.
Yeah, well, yeah.
If it's not good for you, nobody should be having it. If it is good for you, everybody should be having it. But we know the truth. We know the truth, but YouTube will not let us tell the truth.
Yeah, but I don't care about YouTube anymore. Don't care about the Fauci poison. Fauci.
Right, well, if that's the case, David,
yeah,
everybody, you can always find us on Getter and on Twitter, on Rumble, Odyssey, and DLive.
Yeah, well,
when they turn off YouTube for us.
The thing is, the thing about it is, everything that I'm saying here is, I believe, coherent with current scientific thinking. And the reality is, Jed, like you say, like if the boosters work, why wouldn't you give them to under 50-year-olds? And if they don't work, why would you give them to anyone? Adrian here, I see Adrian saying here that they should be banned for everyone, no matter what age they are. Well, actually, amen, Adrian. I mean, that's the position I think a lot of us would hold. But and James Jameson, Jed, he makes a very good point, which we get caught up in this. The booster is another dose. Let's call it for what it is. Well, that is, James, unless it's the bivalent booster, which combines.
Is that part of the LGBTQ community?
It is.
Right, okay. So it's full of rainbows.
It's a rainbow one. Yeah, you get. Yeah. I'm not gonna tell you how it's administered because I get arrested.
A suppository.
Hey. You don't want to know. Don't go there. Do not go there. So the bivalent one, right, which combines, I believe, apparently, the requisite DNA or mRNA to deal with the alpha variant and the delta variant, both of which are like distant in the past, so completely irrelevant. They combine that anyway, so that's maybe different, James Jameson. But in principle, is it? You're right. Jason O'Brien says he identifies, even though he's unvaccinated, he identifies as vaccinated. Yeah, so do I, Jason. And how dare anybody?
Well, you see, I identify as a black, non-binary,
Yep.
vaccinated,
Yep.
foreigner,
Yep.
migrant, refugee, anything else?
Well, that's quite a lot.
No, I can't think of any. I'll think of some more.
Yeah, well, we have to respect that.
And a member of the Brits, obviously, because the Brits were so diverse. Oh yeah, all the winners were male.
Yeah. So, okay, well, you've made that one clear. A warm welcome to City Troll, by the way. Hi, Scotland, the jab. And I see Daniel Plantagenet there and John Spence. Hi, guys. Thank you all for being here with us this evening as we storm our way through this agenda. So I mean, I just find that, as I say, the bizarre situation is that they're saying, though, that you don't need a booster, aka a third shot, if you're under 50. But here's an interesting thing. Hi BK, by the way. I'm trying to read the comments here. If you get the boot on BoobTube because of COVID mania, we all go to. Yeah, we don't care about YouTube. We're not being bullied by YouTube. We're not. They've demonetized me. They've done everything they can to destroy me. I don't care. But here's the thing. Look, Jed, the as regards these sort of booster shots, that they're no longer prepared to give under 50s. See, there's a lot of excess mortality in the under 50 age group. A lot of excess.
No, David. No, I'm not having that.
Yeah.
Don't tell me the excess mortality is higher now than it was in 2021, 22.
Yeah, weirdly, yes. Now, Jed, I blame. There's lots of good reasons that it could be for this.
I blame Putin and climate change.
Yeah, and white supremacy. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
White supremacy. And these are the issues that are probably causing the excess mortality. But there might be another reason. There might be one other reason, but we can't talk about.
I also blame Rita Frank. Is it Rita Franklin?
Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, Aretha Franklin that had a song this week said
Carol King's Natural Woman.
Yeah. That's racist.
It is. And it's very it's deeply transphobic. I actually think that might have been a spoof. I know there was an organization came out and they said that they were offended by it. But the thing about social media, Jed, that I am reminded very frequently, you can't believe anything that people say. So the people may be spoofing you, they may be making it up. Donny Girl makes a choice. Climate change is killing people. Yes.
The guy today, I know it's off topic, but the guy today, I found it, saw his tweet, so I did have to respond. Because he said, all the polar bears are dying. There's been 40% less polar bears now. And then I just stuck out in bold capitals saying there are more polar bears now than there ever has been. Stop lying to people, because that is a deliberate lie to people.
Mm-hmm. Well, the people do. They do that on Twitter, though. The people, they just straight out lies. Hi, John Gleason, by the way. Good to see you. A warm welcome, my friend. And hi, Old Baz. Good to see you as well. Actually, Jed, Old Baz asks the killer question. Has Julia Hartley-Brewer had all of her boosters? Still hoping.
I think she has, and I think she's a shareholder in Challenger 2 tanks, and has just had a share in Abrams tanks as well. Oh, and Leopard 2s.
Yeah, don't worry about it, Old Baz. We're going to get to the tanks in Ukraine. We're going to get to that in a minute or two.
Thanks for reminding us.
I tell you, that's a good one. Yeah, but I mean, Adrian points out if eats the bugs, you'll survive the jabs and all the other emergencies you will be facing. Well, I know that Schwab might think that, but hi, Melanie, by the way, good to see you. Daniel says he worships at the shrine of Greta. Oh my goodness, Daniel, I got myself into a lot of bother on social media the other day. But I saw a video of Greta Thunberg, and she I think she was in Germany, wherever it was, the other day. This is the fake arrest that she had. But anyway. I mean, she's 20-year-old, by the way. As you know well, Jed, men have gone to war.
You ate all the pies.
Yeah, she had all.
She ate all the pies, and she piled it on. I don't wish to be fattest, all right, but she's piled it on. She's been in lockdown, scoffing the pies and the Mars bars. I bet she deep fries everything as well. Yeah, deep fries it in all that oil. Just stop oil. Deep fries it. She munches it down, yeah, with 16 gallon of Coke, yeah. And she has a drink as well.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, she had put on a bit of weight. Now she has. Now we all can do that. So I'm not having a go, but I'm not going to ignore it either. But my God, because I said this about the little doom goblin, all of her low IQ cult supporters piled on me, Jed, saying, you're piling on. She's just a teenage girl. No, she's not. You're bullying her. She's the one that bullies people.
Hang on, if you think that is bullying, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Well, you see, the thing is, if you want to see bullying, have a look at the tweet that she sent to Andrew Tate if you want to see what bullying looks like. So anyway, suffice to say, the Greta Thunberg fan club does not like it when you criticize her.
When you tell the truth.
Well, yeah.
When you show facts or give facts against lies.
Yeah, that's right.
You deal in reality and not somebody's truth, somebody's lived experience.
Well, Donny Girl says quite rightly, she puts herself out there in the public square, so she's game. You're quite right, Donny Girl. That is the fact that I put myself out, so I'm fair game as well. I mean, I'm not saying double standards here, but what I'm saying is we should be allowed to criticize whoever we want, and and sometimes maybe we'll get it right, and sometimes we'll get it wrong. But my God, the Greta Thunberg fan club does not like it when you criticize their dear leader.
Well,
but
no,
anyway,
that's the point, and that's the point with any of this woke nonsense at the moment, David. Whether it's climate change, whether it's trans issues, whether it's LGBTQRFWXYZ people, anything like that, you cannot question or criticize the religion, because it is a religion now.
Oh, it is.
Just like the NHS is a religion. You can't criticize the NHS because it is a religion.
No. Couple of quick things. I like City Troll's comment. You're robbing her of her childhood. How dare you? How dare you?
Her parents did that when they groomed her.
Exactly. And hello, a warm hello to our good friend and supporter, Chris Davies, who's in snowy Italy at the moment, enjoying the.
I tell you what, Chris. I tell you what. You must have some bloody money, mate. I tell you, get over to the shop. Get over to the shop and buy some goodies.
Oh, right.
And that's an order.
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, I think we've got any fashionable snowboarder will want the stuff that we have. So, yeah. But anyway, listen, it is a cult. We're going to talk about the NHS. We'll get there in a second. But back to these boosters. So, listen, I don't understand how, if these jabs are so safe and so effective, and if COVID is such a dangerous condition, that all of a sudden country after country is saying, Jed, we better back off giving it to the under 50s. So I think my theory is that they see the excess mortality, particularly in this group, and they're hitting the brakes. They're hitting the brakes because they're getting worried about it, Jed. I keep telling you, the truth is coming out.
Nuremberg. All chant with me, Nuremberg.
Well, of course, we whether we get a Nuremberg, I don't know, but certainly, if, for example, we seen, the other week, Conservative MP Andrew Bridgen question the vaccine safety, and he was demonized by that and obviously essentially thrown out of the Conservative Party. But then, Jed, yesterday in the House of Commons, we saw former Minister Esther McVey actually, she was very good. She raised the point in the Commons to the Health Minister, Maria Caulfield, who's useless, absolutely useless, where McVey said, all this excess mortality, what's causing it? Because it is not as has been claimed by Chris Whitty. People couldn't get their prescriptions during lockdown, because we can see from the prescription data there was no drop yet. There wasn't any drop off, people getting prescriptions. So it's not prescriptions that's causing the excess people not getting their prescriptions that's causing the excess mortality. It's something else. It's another thing, and maybe that thing is what makes them want to suddenly roll back in the under 50s. Of course, they're going to keep giving it to the over 50s, so that's bad news for me. Except
it's not, David, because you don't take it, and and you know me, David. I am far too young to be over 50.
I know that, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. But bear in mind, Jed, I identify as being under 50. Just remember that. So,
It's okay because I have a mental age of under 10.
well, I think the fact that I'm just trying to pick up more people here by dementia. Some interesting characters here on the getters, I see as well. A warm welcome. Someone says Greta eats too many penguins. Save the penguins. I'm not sure if maybe you can eat penguins. I dare say everything is probably edible in this world. But anyway, I just find this really, really interesting, Jed. The fact that the British government is saying from February 12th, no more boosters for the under 50s, and we're only going to give it to the immunocompromised. Which I profoundly disagree with. The immunocompromised are the last people who should be getting it, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. Our authorities think differently, and of course, by continuing to jab the compliant elderly people, then maybe that just means that we tip the scales of death towards a different age demographic than under 50s. I don't know, but anyway,
but they're doing everything they can to not address the elephant in the room.
Of course.
Yeah. Absolutely everything they possibly can. When we can see, when do you know you've got an elephant in your fridge? There's footprints in your butter. Yeah. And there's a big fat footprint right across the globe at the moment.
Yeah.
And they're all ignoring it deliberately. Because if they admit to it, then they're admitting to the complicit crime that they've perpetuated on the population of the planet for the past 2.5 years.
Here's the thing. All these excess deaths are amongst the highly vaccinated, compliant Western countries. If you go to Africa, there's no excess deaths. So that's another clue, which you don't have to be a genius to work out. So let me think. The countries that didn't, like, for example, I think 20% was the average uptake in many African countries, around about 20%. Whereas, countries like Ireland and the UK, they're claiming 80-90%. So it does seem weird that the countries with the highest uptake of vaccines are the countries that appear to have the highest levels of excess mortality. Now, cause and correlation, I get all that, but can you completely ignore it? Well, the politicians want to.
The politicians and the fourth estate are ignoring it, David.
Yeah, the fourth,
As you constantly say on many of your podcasts now, you say, the dam is breaking. I do believe the dam is breaking. It's not quite a flood.
No, it's not.
Certainly, it's gone from a trickle to a floor. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to pick my words carefully here.
Yeah,
it's gone to a floor. It'll soon become a river, and then it'll soon become a deluge. Like that, deluge.
Deluge, yeah. And the deluge, Jed, is what will wash away the monsters that have presided over this. So you're dead right. We're not at that point yet. We're not there yet. But those cracks are getting bigger and bigger, and there's more and more water coming out, and there's more and more MPs beginning to speak out. Now they're probably covering their backsides, Jed. Let's be honest about it. But at least they're beginning to speak out. Joe Cool pointing out there on screen, only 6% of Africans are jabbed, and for some weird reason, no excess deaths. And that's weird, isn't it? Chris Davies is saying everyone in Italy has had the snake oil. They're all brainwashed. Well, you see, and guess what, Chris Davies? Check out the excess deaths amongst Italians. Hi, Vicky, by the way. Good to see you, my friend Vicky. You don't have to apologize for being late, Vicky.
I was just pulling Vicky's message up there.
Yeah, no, good to see you. So I'm going to see what City Troll says. That's my group, the immunocompromised. They want to bump us off. Well, I see, City Troll. That actually is my very point. I at the very, very beginning of this, Jed, do you remember at the very beginning when they started to roll these jabs out, the whole argument was, well, look, we're going to give this vaccine, which wasn't a vaccine, to the most elderly, most vulnerable, and the immunocompromised, because they need the protection that it gives. But then we discover that, of course, what it does is it appears to impact on their immune system in a far from positive way, he says, choosing his words carefully. And so what you're doing is that's the last group you should be giving it to. Of course, as Chris Davis points out, it's 100% safe and effective unless you die, that is, Chris, or get myocarditis, which, as I pointed out today, did you see that, Jed? Interesting stat about myocarditis. 1 in 5 people that have myocarditis will die within, I think it's within 5 years.
Yeah, I
It's
remember
very
you reading that out
serious.
this morning. It is.
It's serious. Yeah.
It's frightening.
Yeah, because especially again, back to the monsters behind this, young men in their 20s and in their teens in particular, Jed, they're the ones who seem to have been most susceptible to myocarditis. Getting it, and so, but the scary thing is, imagine you're 20-year-old, say, and you've just tested positive, and they've identified you've got myocarditis. Well, within 5 years, when you're 25, you mightn't get to see 30. It's absolutely
That's right. And
horrible.
it's frightening, David. It is absolutely frightening.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons I rage against it, because I'm not at the end of my life, hopefully, but if I was 20, I've got the whole of my life ahead of me. I've got everything.
But you've not now.
What's that?
If you're now 20 and you've had the jabs,
no,
then
right.
You haven't got your whole life ahead of you.
No.
You've got what you hope is your life ahead of you.
But you don't know.
Exactly. You don't know because you don't know if you've now got myocarditis and you're the 1 in 5.
I like the fact that Adrian says it's 100% safe and effective when you don't take it. Well done, Adrian. Good man. That's what we want to hear. That's the sort of stuff that you get to hear, by the way, when Adrian joins us live in the studio on our Thursday evening podcast live. Alphabet Cat says Dr. David Bull has some family members who are damaged by it, quote, and he recommended. Oh, yes, he did, Alphabet Cat. And as Jed can attest, I have put out a couple of podcasts in the last few days, basically asking some questions of Dr. David Bull, Deputy Leader of Reform, and Mr. Richard Tice, Leader of Reform. Chris Davies reminds me, don't forget the turbo cancer. Exactly. A lot of that about for some. The oncologists have never been busier identifying these fast-moving cancers, which sadly can take people. But the thing is that the Reform Party. Oh yeah. I'm not going to get into that one now. But yes, Chris Davies, I do believe that your comment regarding Richard Tice is pretty much correct. You call him a snake. I would call him a Judas goat. Sorry, just bring up that. BK, I just missed that there. On a serious note, my 51-year-old cousin died 4 weeks ago. Just found out from my uncle that she died of myocarditis. She worked in a doctor's office, so she had to get all these poisonous jabs. That's horrible, isn't it, Jed? What do you say?
It is. It's sad, and I know we sit here every night, and well, not every night, but we sit here and you do your podcast next night, and we go on about myocarditis and the other things, and how we've avoided all that. And the point is, I think, because as I said many a time, I sit there in the evenings once I've done all my work for you, David.
Yes,
the couple of minutes I have before I go to sleep.
Yeah,
I put my feet up in front of the goggle box and literally watch all runs of goggle box. And I've said it several times now, but I can see the normies. And what I mean by normies is it's not just those that will go, how many jabs? Okay, what this time? Yeah, and just keep on having jab after jab after jab. Mask, yeah, I think we should wear masks. Yeah, lock yourself away. Yeah, the government will pay for it. Don't worry. Because they are conditioned. And it's the same people who go, oh, it's Sunday. I love this. It's Strictly. Or, oh, it's Saturday. It's Britain Got Talent. Or, oh, it's whatever. Yeah, I'm a celeb. Oh, it's Corrie. Oh, it's EastEnders. Yeah, oh, I love this. And it's those people that fat out on the sofa every night. I'm not saying I don't fat out on the sofa. I do. But fat out on the sofa every night with their feet up after probably, I would say, some of them a hard day's work, but actually a lot of them over 50% on benefits. More benefits than they pay in taxes, as we've just found out. I sit there and they just soak it in. They watch the 6 o'clock news, the 9 o'clock news, the 10 o'clock news.
Yeah.
They'll watch Question Time. They'll watch Panorama. They'll watch that other thing called Channel 4. Is that still going? Channel 4. Yeah. And then they'll suck it all in. And then they'll look at people like you, like me, like the great people we have on our stream, the great people that follow you, David. And they think we are nutbars. They think we are kooks. They think we are conspiracy theorists. But in the end, they will have to come to the realization that after all, we were right. But there's nothing we can do now to correct the wrong. You know, there's many things in life that if somebody's done it wrong, they can always correct it and make it right. But if you've taken those jabs, you cannot correct that. You've taken them. That is it. It's just like having a tattoo. You can't get rid of a tattoo.
Well, there's another comment I've seen, Ged, over on YouTube from, or again, a great supporter of our work, Mr. John Gleason. John says,
that up. I think this is the one, David.
Yeah, John says, I buried my younger brother 2 weeks ago in Tipperary. He died suddenly, age 60, fully jabbed, cause of death unknown, ... yet. Exactly, John. Well, first of all, my commiserations, and similarly to you, BK, as well. Do you know, because in all of this, and throughout all of this, all people like Ged and myself we want everyone to have a good life and to live a long life, as long as, you know, you were granted that time. And you know, like there's another one coming over on Getters. Republican Rocker says, Republican Rocker says in Getter, my friend caught turbo cancer. She had long blonde hair. Now she has 25 staples and no hair. I mean, this is grim stuff, but it's important stuff. It is important, Ged. I think because the mainstream media won't talk about these things, and the mainstream media is turbo cancer, in my opinion. We have to. It's for us to give the chance for people like BK, like John Gleason, like Republican Rocker, like all of our friends here whose families are impacted. And let's be honest, Ged, like, you know, although a lot of us, I guess, here are pure bloods and we have not taken the toxic jab, that cannot be said regarding all our family circle. I mean, certainly my family circle.
No, same as me, David. I mean, my 3 boys have all taken the jabs, but they won't take the booster. Well, certainly 2 of them won't take the booster. I don't know about the 3rd one. But I just want to make this clear to the people who have lost family members or close relatives.
Yeah.
We are not here to belittle you or belittle them or belittle the suffering that you're going through on the loss. You know, and to go, oh, well, I told you so. It's not about that. But what it is about is, well, if you have taken 1, 2, then don't take any more. If you've taken 3, don't take any more, because all you're doing is increasing your risk.
Well, as we've talked about, it's like you're playing Russian roulette, you know, in the 6 chambers, there's a bullet in one of the chambers. You keep clicking, eventually it's going to get you, or at least that would be the thing. I'm just trying to pick up comments here. Donny Girl's praying for her sons. Both my daughter and my son have taken the jabs, I have to say. So, you know, what we don't know, Ged, is, of course, are all the batches the same? Or some of the batches?
Well, you see, I don't think there is, David. I know I've jumped in there, but I've seen evidence, and in fact, I think you showed the evidence, last year, I think it was, where different batches have different kill rates. Oh, sorry. Different adverse reaction rates.
Yeah.
And some of them were off the scale. But, and it also had, along the same line, it had all of the vaccines in history of how many adverse reactions, adverse reactions. And I think there was one that broke the line at 31 cases, and the vaccine was pulled instantly.
That's right.
Never been
That's right.
I can't remember what the vaccine was. Yet we're talking thousands for different batches, but thousands for different batches, and nothing's been done.
Again, a couple of comments, Ged. I want to keep getting them in because John Spence, I know you'd put it up there, Ged, a minute
I'll bring
ago.
it back.
So John says, my brother-in-law got fully jabbed, then died in December, riddled with cancer. so I now have his pets out of respect. Again, sympathies, John, on the loss of your brother-in-law. I mean, again, I see more comments here. Republican Rocker says, my aunt in Florida had five jabs, developing leukemia between jabs 2 and 3. Yeah, these are sad stories, and but we got to get them out there. And in fact, actually, did you see there was a big protest in London at the weekend? And I haven't covered this in the podcast yet, but I'm well aware of it. There was a big protest outside. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people outside the BBC, Jet, outside the BBC main sort of office, the main headquarters, protesting about safety and all the rest of it. The BBC didn't cover it.
No, so, I know that, David. Yeah, I saw the clips on Twitter.
Yeah,
BBC, right outside the door.
Outside the door, they didn't see it. That's why, and this is where this gets serious. That's why, folks, the alternative media, people like us, we're the people who will bring your stories out there. You know, because the BBC will ignore it. Chris Davies says Peter was there. Good, I'm glad to hear it. Peter will be there with me on Saturday in Derby. By the way, we should probably bring that up at some point. We're going to be recording a very special podcast. Peter McElvenna from Hearts of Oak and yours truly. It's going to be, you can come along and be in the audience, and then eventually you'll get to hear it and whatnot. And there'll be lots of other people there. I believe there'll be, I know Jed's furiously working at it here, so I'll fill in while he finds it. But if he can't find it, I love to give him these challenges. Oh, he's got it. Look at that. How quick is this man? So look, you can see, look, all these great people. Katie Hopkins. You've got some great comedians there. Andrew Lawrence and Alistair Williams. You've got Abby Roberts. I think she's going to be there on a Friday, actually. And we've got a white screen.
I'm just bringing up the web page so people can book tickets.
Here we go. Yeah, a weekend on the edge. Well, listen, if you're going to spend the weekend with me, you will be on the edge, quite honestly. And this is where it's all happening, and you can get your tickets and come along. Hi, David Matter, by the way. Thanks for being here. You can get here's all the folks that are there. So just go through some of them. As I said, my eyesight's so bad. Matt Hoy's going to be there, ex-UB40 singer. The Freds, of course, Richard and Fred. I've got a very dodgy looking guy in the bottom left. This guy here, ignore him.
I thought that was for Crime Watch. Have you seen this man?
Hey, Jed, you're sacked.
Four men jumped out to the back of a white van with balaclavas and sawed off shotguns. I thought, that's funny, because it hasn't snowed in months.
And there we've got, by the way, this is going to be presided over by Dick Dellingpole, who is, of course, the esteemed brother of James. James is going to be there. And there's all the great folks that are going to be there. So it's all going to be lots of fun, lots of chat. It's all happening this weekend. So I don't know how I got off into that one, Jed, but there you know how I operate. Adrian rightly points out conspiracy theorists.
I'll tell you, David, how you got that one. Sorry to interrupt you. Yep. Because of davidvance.net. They got in touch with you on there, and I forwarded it on to you, and you then contacted them. davidvance.net is where it's all happening.
Yeah, make sure we want to get lots of traffic going over there. So we need to get you to go there. Please go and visit davidvance.net. Go to the shop, have some fun, spend some money. Because that's the other thing. Listen, Jed, the BBC, 3.8 billion a year. 3.8 billion a year. People, thousands of people potentially, protesting outside their very door, and they ignore it. Why? Because those people are expressing the same concern that I reckon everybody in all these different streams has got. Namely, Jed, anxious about maybe they've taken the vaccine and they're worried about the consequences. Melanie Bliss, who of course is a great supporter here. Melanie, it's always lovely to see you. Melanie says, my partner's friend, Addie, was one of the jab injured and now in a wheelchair. See, Jed, this is why I honestly feel that we are on a righteous crusade, because we are speaking up for people who have had family and friends who have been hurt by taking this 100% effective, which now they're saying, oh, it's maybe not that effective. Hi, Jean Wallace. Great to see you as well, Jean. You always a fantastic voice to be with us here. Here's, and again, I just love the comments, Jed. So I just like to run with these. BK tells us his in-laws are being harassed, pressurized by their GP to get boosters. They said no. Many of their elderly friends had issues because of the jab, and the father-in-law got Bell's palsy. I mean, this is textbook stuff, isn't it? This is textbook stuff. Blitzer says, in a world of Dave Angels, be a David Vance. You're very kind, Blitzer. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't get this Dave Angels thing, mate. I don't.
I think there was a troll come on and had a go at me.
Right.
And I think Dave Blitzer can fill us in, but I think that's what it's about. But regardless of which, these are real people's families, Jed.
Well, they are, David, and that's why I don't want people to think we're going, I told you so, because we're not. We feel for you. We feel for the fact that they, and again, I don't mean this in any disrespect, but they fell for the propaganda. They fell for the media push and the politician push to get jabs. And it's so easy, it was a psychological warfare. And the reason psychological warfare works is because of exactly what we've just witnessed over the past 3 years. It does work. It grinds you down and you think you're doing the right thing.
It does. It does, Jed. And one of the reasons it works so well is the thing that you pointed out. And that is, if people consume mainstream media, there's a very good chance they'll be completely seduced. There really is. And the depth of that seduction is a wonder to behold. And that's why I'm conscious of time. I want to move on to something related to this. So I'm just reading some of the... John Spence says, all doctors are pushing the jabs as they get paid per jab they give out. NHS isn't for the people anymore. No, it's absolutely not, John. Chris Davies is off to have a big sleep day on the mountain tomorrow. Have a great day.
Cheers, Chris. Thanks for your donation as well, Chris. I know you said you made one, so thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, it's always good to see you. So so back to this. I want to keep in this one, Jed. I think we'll maybe skip World War III. Let's skip that. We'll save that for tomorrow night.
World War III will still be here tomorrow, David.
So Jack, I wanted to explain to everyone, because we've sort of touched on doctors and health and all of that. So I wanted to share with everybody the fact that I had to go for my annual retinopathy examination, which is just a sort of MOT of my eyes to make sure that everything's fine. And it's provided by the NHS. So you go to an NHS clinic, and they basically, what they do is they zap kind of sort of liquid stuff in your eyes, which makes your pupils big, and then they basically take an image of your inside your eyes and make sure everything's okay. So I went there today for annual. So it's been a year since I was there. So I wandered in to this place. And I sat down, and I hardly had got my backside on the chair before this nursey type person came over to me, and she says, "Oh, would you wear a mask, sir?" And I kind of looked around, like, "You talking to me?" She says, "Yeah, would you wear a mask?" I said, "No, I'm exempt from wearing those." And like she back, honestly, Jed, when I said I'm exempt from wearing those, it's as if I'd taken holy water and thrown it at a vampire. No. So
you garlic around your neck.
Yeah, and so I obviously wasn't wearing it. But here's the killer bit, and it goes back to what we've been chatting about. I was the only bloody person in that waiting room. There were 6 people who didn't wear a mask. They all wore a mask. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, you people, you've been so hypnotized, Jed, so conditioned. I thought, I've got 2 theories. That's one theory. You've been so conditioned and all of that they tell you to put a mask on, you put a mask on. If they told you to put a bucket in your head, you'd put a bucket in your head. You'll do whatever you're told. I thought that. And then I went to see the actual optometrist, or whoever she is, the person who does the thing with your eyes, and she wasn't wearing a mask. I laughed at that. So me and her weren't wearing a mask. Everybody else was wearing masks. And this is my thing about the NHS. They are continuing, Jed. They're still continuing to worship at the, at the rituals of COVID, and it's sickening. And people are still going to follow them. That's the awful bit.
Yeah, no, and I mean, when I last went to, and we've spoke about this, when I went last to see the doctor, I was seeing a specialist about something, and as I sat in the wait, when I first went in, she said, because it wasn't my usual surgery, it was the bigger one, a bit further down the road, so to speak. And I went in and she went, could you wear a mask, please? And I went, no. And she went, oh, right, okay. And then that was also the same day I went in and I waited for my turn, and the message came on the board for me to see a particular doctor in a particular room, which I did. And as I'm walking down the corridor, this transvestite popped out of the room, and I had to sit there and have my examination and what have you, and discuss my medical things with this trans person. Remember, had a leather back on, a white shirt.
Love is love. How dare you be judgmental? Carry on.
I'm being judgmental, David. It was a black bra. For what, I don't know, because he didn't have any breasts.
Yeah.
Under a white shirt with a black leather corset on, a short tartan skirt with black tights and heels. Now, if you think I'm taking any medical advice off somebody who clearly has a mental health issue and should not be allowed to prescribe drugs or medication to people, you're having a laugh. There is no. Now, the thing is, it was only a checkup and it was a follow-up. And if I have to go back again and it's that person, it's the same doctor, I will say, can I see a doctor of the same sex I am? And if they say, yes, she's here, then they can shove it.
Yeah, hang on a second. Let me just challenge you a little bit in this. Like, you were happy to go through with this cursory well, was it an examination? Whatever it was.
No, it wasn't an examination, David.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that? Are you
I'm absolutely sure, David. I did not. It wasn't one of those, just go behind the curtain and put my clothes on the chair. It wasn't one of those. Okay. It was a follow-up of some stats and some readings that they had.
I gotta say that does outdo my grumpy, because the other thing that annoyed me today is the nurses. They were so grumpy. They were the most miserable people I've ever thought. I always feel that if you're in a job, you should enjoy your job and be happy doing your job. And if you don't like it, go and do something else. I've always said that to people all through my life, and all the people
that's fine. Be who you want to be. But I'm sorry, I've left it up on the screen. I am still correct. Transvestite. Yeah. It should have been in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. He was dressed for it.
Well, yeah. And was this your local surgery again, Jed?
It was the big surgery a bit further down the road rather than the small one, which is just around the corner.
I'm very concerned about the sort of people that are in your local who are running it. But
he was a sweet transvestite, as the saying goes.
Northern Monkey says, "Are you sure you weren't hallucinating?"
No, I definitely wasn't hallucinating. But I tell you what, I did take a deep breath when I turned the corner. I looked at the corridor, and he came out into the corridor, and I thought, "Oh my God, here we go."
Yeah, you did very well to keep your composure. I don't know what I would have done. Probably shocked, but then nothing.
But the thing is, the person before that, the doctor that they got rid of, was, I think, an Indian lady. She was in all the Indian garb with but absolutely brilliant. A great laugh, fantastic woman. She listened. She did all the tests and all the readings and whatever. She was brilliant.
Yeah.
And then I'm sat there watching a man with nail polish tap away on his computer with his legs crossed. Yeah.
So Daniel says,
good job he didn't do a Sharon Stone on me.
Yeah, Daniel says size 12 feet and called Bob. Jean Wallace says she identifies as a man-loving lesbian. Exactly, Jane. I mean, but we live in clown world, and Melanie's right, of course, biology rules. But no, back to the NHS. I'm not letting them off this one. So I just thought to myself today, God, you're a bunch of miserable so and so's. Secondly, you're still trying to impose masks on the world, and I do agree with somebody said, I saw it on Twitter there. Alphabet Cat says, sadly, I fear masks are here to stay now, because they had this box of masks that the nurse came to everybody with, right? And it was sitting. But I watched people who came in, they didn't even have to be given a mask, Jed, because they had their masks on them.
No, that's it. It's conditioning. Once the psychological warfare has worked, you are conditioned, and that's the point. And
I think so. Yeah.
I want to just go to one of your podcasts that you've been going on about, which is turning off the electric for an hour.
Yeah,
and I agree with you. That is social conditioning.
Compliance. Yeah,
to social condition you for climate change, power outages.
Yeah,
because then you'll go, oh well, it's only an hour today. I've been doing it for the past 6 months. I've been turning off, 1 hour a day, every day.
Absolutely.
So it's nothing new to me. I don't mind. It means we can sit together around the candle. And that's why the picture for the podcast, I pictured people sat around the candle trying to keep warm. Because that's what it will turn into, David. We'll see. Not only are we trying to kill Granny with the jams, we're also now trying to freeze her to death. And if she doesn't freeze to death, she's going to burn to death because she forget to blow the candle out, and it'll burn down, set the table on fire. The whole house will go up, and we've fried Granny. So not only have we given her myocarditis and nearly killed her that way, we've now fried her alive, trying to keep her warm.
But Jed, you made a really good point. That it's all about compliance. I put up on all my social media platforms the wee punchline. I will not submit. I will not comply. They tested people during COVID. Will you do stupid things? Will you keep sanitizing your hands? Tick. Will you stay 2 meters apart from your family and friends? Tick. Then will you be so stupid as to wear a mask? Yes. And then will you take a vaccine once, twice, 3, 4 times, 5 times? So all compliance. And that's exactly what they're doing. Can we get enough of you to sit in the dark in a cold January, February evening to save 5p, I think it was, Jed.
Oh yeah, that got me, David, because your podcast told me it was 5p.
Yeah.
And after that, I was doing a bit of catch up on YouTube, and I caught a GB News clip, and they were talking about it as a future event. They're saying, oh yeah, you could save up to maybe £10 or £20. And they just reminded me, I just sat here and chuckled to myself about your podcast saying, well, actually, they thought it was £20, but they got 5p.
5p, yeah. The National Grid came back to them and said, on average, you've saved them. Well done for sitting in the dark for an hour or an hour and a half, whatever it is. You save 5p. But I mean, but see, there's a serious point here. We went on about it, God knows, often enough during the whole lockdown. We were saying that, like in a way, the forces that be behind all of this, the dark forces behind, they laugh at the sheeple, and they do laugh at the sheeple. And I bet you they were having a real chuckle on Monday and Tuesday night of this week with I think it was 1 million households potentially were sitting in the dark, in the cold for an hour.
But David, I did see another GB News clip where somebody was talking about this, and they said, actually, did it really make any difference? And he went, well, he said, would the lights have gone out? And he went, well, no, this is to give them headroom in case something happened. They have a buffer. Well, no, I tell you what they have as a buffer. They have coal power power stations, oil-fired power stations, and gas-fired power stations, and that's what we need to build more of, as well as nuclear, because wind and solar don't produce. Well, solar doesn't produce at night, and wind only produces when it's bloody windy.
No, I know, I know, but that doesn't stop their agenda. Their agenda is to push renewables and to demonize, as we saw at Davos, a hydrocarbon.
Well, their agenda is to make you poorer. It's to take you back to the dark ages.
And have complete control over you. That's the whole point. And you see, so if you don't submit to them, if you don't comply, if you don't wear a mask, if you keep your power turned on, if you do these things, then in a way, that's you being a rebel. That's you standing up to them and saying, no, no, I'm a free man. I'm a free woman. I'm not doing this. I'm not having this. I'm not, I'm not wearing your stupid
Because
mask. I won't take your jobs. I'm not going to support Zelensky. I will not go with whatever the current, because you talk about this, Jed, the current thing.
yeah.
I'm not going with the current thing.
No, but the other thing is as well, David, to go along with that, is things like smart meters. Now, people go on about the data and what have you, and the emissions and the fire risk, particularly in the United States, the fire risk from smart meters. Let's get all that. But what can I do with a smart meter that I can't do with a standard meter? I'll tell you what I can do. I can charge you more at different times of day for your electricity. For the exact amount of you. Oh, and what I can actually do as well, at certain times of day, I can tell your meter to only give you so much energy, and if you use it, to turn you off.
Yep.
Can't do that with an old meter.
No.
No. Because for the old meter, for them to turn me off, they have to turn the street off.
Because
or the district off.
That's right. But anything in modern world, Jed, that's got smart in front of it should be avoided. Smart meters, avoid smart.
Or anything that's got I in front of it, like iPad.
Well, yeah.
iPhone.
I mean,
Chinese are watching you.
Yeah, no. I am sure that as we sit talking, my iPhone is listening in to whatever I'm saying. But I assume that. But ultimately, I do believe we're going to probably have to get off grid completely. It's just in the meantime, we have to show some opposition to what's going on. Melanie says, by the way, Jed, radiation is off the scale with smart meters. Iberstellar saying,
well, the thing is, he's transmitting constantly. So it's a radio frequency transmitter that sits in your meter box, wherever that is. For some people, it's on the outside. For other people, it's on the inside of your front door. For other people, it's in your basements. And it's transmitting constantly. So they know, for example, what wattage a light bulb uses, what wattage a kettle uses, what wattage your fridge uses, microwave, everything. So they know exactly what you're doing in your house. They know when you plug your mobile phone in to charge it, because they know what wattage and what power drain every item that you could ever think of takes. So they know what you are doing, and what they can do is start going, wow, we think you're using your electricity inappropriately, so we're going to charge you more when you do that for those items.
Well, I mean, I see Melanie says, I think one of her sisters is having hers removed, £250 a time. She has 2 meters. By the way, Iberstellar says that I did see that on the stream. Just wanted to, because I thought it was interesting. Apparently, smart meters will be mandatory by 2025. That would be for new build, I would imagine, Iber. I can't see someone coming to my property.
The thing is, we're supposed to be getting water meters out and I've checked, and you cannot not have a water meter. And the fact is, the only time you can refuse if it's going to be too disruptive. Let's say you live on a farm or something like that, and you're out in the sticks. But for somebody like me who lives in the street, they just put the water meter literally outside my property.
Yeah.
So I have no choice. But with the smart meter for the electric, it has to be either on my property or in my property. And therefore, you know what they can do, David?
Yeah, I have right.
It's on a swivel.
Yeah. But as I said, like it is all about, the whole thing's about control. For the last 3 years in particular, our lives have been about the cabal seeking to control every aspect of us. By the social conditioning before the jabs came along, the fear, which hasn't gone away, which they keep pushing all the new variants and all of that, and then of course we have the Ukraine sort of situation, because actually, I mean, at the end of the day,
wait, David.
Hang on. I want to make this point. Like, this is, Jed, the bit that annoys me the hell out of me. So, because our government piled in, we've got to sanction Putin. We've got to teach them Russians a lesson. But it's the British people, and indeed people elsewhere, who are paying, Jed, huge amounts of energy. And then the government's turning around and say, if you sit in the dark for an hour, we'll give you 5p. That's taking the proverbial, isn't it?
It is, David. And again, it's about conditioning. They are conditioning you ready for climate power outages, climate lock. And they'll say, "Oh no, it's not windy and it's not sunny and there's snow on the and that's what it's all about. Oh, you're
Yeah.
saving the planet. If we all turn off the power for 1 hour every day, we'll save so many polar bears." That's what it's
Mm.
all about. It's conditioning you ready for your climate lockdowns.
Well, I agree with Gene Wallace and Gene 100%. Gene says, if the government says right, I say left. It's kept me and the family safe, and we're all, thank the Lord, 100% safe from jab damage and 99% safe from COVID. Well, actually, Gene, more than likely you're 100% safe from COVID. On my podcast, I go into vivid details, my views on COVID. But Daniel says here, your EV can't charge. Yes, indeed. I mean, well, Jed, you and I have talked this a lot. Your EV can't charge for the next hour due to the mandatory blackout in your area. Jed, who would want to buy an electric vehicle in 2023, apart from Elon Musk?
A clone.
Mm,
Because they will never give you what they short. You'll spend your life with range anxiety. When you do get to
yeah,
the charging
yeah,
point, you're in a
yeah.
queue for the charging point, or the charging point doesn't work for one reason or another. There's not enough charging points. You then have to sit there for 20 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes, an hour to get enough charge to get to the next charging point. Where I would say, if you really want to do something and you want to buy a new car, buy a hybrid car. I've got a hybrid. It was advertised at 70 miles per gallon, 74 miles per gallon. I've managed by driving sensibly to get 70 miles per gallon out of it. If I don't drive it sensibly, which is most of the time, I get same as everybody else, about 38 miles per gallon. But the
Well,
point is, it self charges. I don't have to plug it in. As long as I
yeah.
got petrol, it will charge the battery, and I can use the battery to assist in me using less petrol. That's what
Well,
it's about. So there's
well,
only one brand that does that. It begins with a T and ends in iota.
I've got a hybrid. I've got a hybrid, but my hybrid, and I mean, I bought it 3 years ago, so it's coming 3 year old, and I'll be changing it this year. But my hybrid, I was plugging it in, Jed, so I can plug it in, but it also self generates as well, so it does both. So
Right.
I can get some electric range, but the issue on it is that there's no point in having a hybrid, as a lot of them are. They're semi electric. In other words, you plug them in, Jet, because anyone who thinks that electric, you're going to be able to save money by charging your car with electric and then having petrol as a backup. I think that's cloud cuckoo land as
No,
well.
it is. You're not going to save money because let's say tomorrow there are no petrol or diesel cars and everything's electric.
Yeah.
Do you really think that
Yeah.
electric is going to be 2 or 3 pence per
No.
kilowatt or whatever
No.
it is? It's
No.
not. It's going to
No.
go to the point where, at the moment, I'm paying £1.47 per litre for petrol, something like
Mhm.
that. Your electricity will go to that sort of costing for
Yeah.
the equal
Yeah.
amount
It will do.
of
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But where I, from 1 litre of petrol, will get X amount of miles, your equivalent of 1 litre of electricity will not get you as far as you think it will. Because in the winter, when you get your lights on, you've got your heater on, you're demisting your windows, etc., etc. All that is taken away from your range. When I do that, it's not really taken away from my range. There is some degrading of my miles per gallon, but not that much.
No, no, no. Ultimately, in all of these things, I go back to what I think it was Gene was saying. Whatever the government tells you is a good idea, the
Do the
opposite
opposite.
is
Yeah.
probably the case. BK says the shamdemic was a test. We failed miserably. It's about government control, taking away our civil rights and little free speech that we had. I agree with that. Also, yes, Gene asks, are governments trying to turn us into the third world countries? We'll keep that for a different stream, Gene. But the
Oh,
short
David,
answer, yes.
sorry, can I interrupt? Because I've just flicked over to Rumble, and I just want to thank Rick Asa for the $5 donation.
Oh, thank you very yes, and
Thank you so much. I've just seen your comment. I do apologise, but I've just seen your comment. So masks should be mandatory for the Cove Covidians.
Covidians.
Was the message, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the problem is, though, as we've said, Jed, throughout this, the Covidians, many of them are so conditioned that they're lost. They're absolutely lost, and I don't think they're going to be coming back. What we have to do is keep ourselves healthy, and we do that by staying the hell away from the mainstream media, by spending good quality time like this with like-minded people like ourselves. I think it's healthy that we do this. Someone says, oh, buy dementia says, buy rare scotch, good investment. Yes, I've got a relative who is into buying scotch. My problem about that is actually, I don't see the point in buying it as an investment because I can drink it. You know, I mean, I would drink my own investments. That's going to be a very bad investment then, really.
Yeah.
Jason says, I've known some Covidians who come around temporarily, but then they fall for it. This is, Jason, the problem I saw this morning, really, honestly. You know, you walk in full of the joys of life and you see a room of these zombies and you see more of them coming in all masked and you go, God, nothing's changed. You know, we're the same. We're still free-spirited. But so many of them aren't. Listen, we have massively gone over our allocated time, and I don't want this to be the longest ever stream that we've done. But I think, Jed, you may have something you want to play at the end. Am I right?
You are right, David, as usual.
Right. Well, then, but so here's how we do this one. I'm going to thank everybody on the streams, on the Getters, on the YouTubes, on the Rumble. Thank you very much over in Rumble. Wherever you are, thanks for being part of this. We are back in the podcast live tomorrow night. So do join us then. But that's it from me. And as always, I leave Jed to play us out on a funny.
Cheers, David. Right, as always, I look for people that are stupid. This was a real contestant on a real game show in the United Kingdom. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. See you all tomorrow night on the Podbean and or on Getter or Twitter. Catch you later.
Which UK political party shares its name with a collective noun for moles? You can pass this to Alice if you're not sure.
I am not 100% certain, so I'm going to pass it to Alice, I think.
Right, Alice, we're looking for a UK political party that shares its name with a collective noun for moles.
For some reason, Liberal Democrats is shouting out to me.
Okay.
I'm not sure why. I think I'm going to go with Liberal Democrats and hope for the best.
It's Labour.